Manufacturing has its challenges. Digital transformation has its challenges. That's why I started the DigitalituM Podcast, where we explore the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation in dialogues with industry partners and peers.
Manufacturing has its challenges. We have a worker shortage and a skills gap, and we deal with old paper-based processes. Labor shortage, job training issues, too many different Excel sheets, no outcome data visualization, no support out in the field, inefficient shop floor planning, and issues with manual assembly processes. Do you know these problems? Do you have these challenges too? Our digital toolbox offers special tools custom to your needs, similar to your analog toolbox with wrenches, pliers, and screwdrivers, but more advanced. With our manufacturing experience and certified digitalization competence, we are able to recommend the right solution for you. We help you to choose the right digital tools to improve efficiency and competitiveness, making sure your team fully utilizes new technologies, and we provide ongoing support to keep your tools effective over time. Ready to change? Contact us at DigitalituM. We are happy to help you on your digital transformation journey.
Welcome to the DigitalituM Podcast, where we delve into the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation. My today's guest is Marek, co-founder of Aidar from Poland. Welcome, Marek.
Welcome, Marcus. Nice to have the speech with you.
You are welcome. So let's jump right into it and tell us a little bit about your background and how did you become co-founder of Aidar Solutions? What's the story behind that?
My background is like I studied computer science in Germany. I studied at the same time also graphic design. So the combination of visual effects, of visual aspects, and computer is something which is in my DNA. And this is like, I don't know, now like 8 years ago, I was running a company which was dealing with SharePoint as software platform. So I was a Microsoft partner, and then it come the conference from Microsoft telling about the HoloLens and the possibility of the HoloLens, and it looks very spooky, like what is that? And but I decided, okay, I will try it out. I just register for the beta, and we become one of the first European partner of Microsoft with this HoloLens. And after trying it out, it was like, a little bit strange, but still good enough to understand what is the idea. And for me, it was clear this is the future of, human-computer interaction, to have the whole room, to have the understanding of the room. And in the beginning, we started with, like small vision application for Siemens Healthineers, for the systems, this kind of stuff. But then it started that we realized that we have like repeatedly the same stuff which we are doing, and that it makes sense to make a product which will allow our customers to adjust, change the trainings which we are doing with reality by themselves. So this is how Aidar Skills, which is like no-code editor for VR trainings, came out, and we started with for Daimler, which was building the first company or first plant in Poland, in Jawohl, and they have the goal to train 1,500 people without having the actual manufacturing plant there. And this is how we decided to make a digital twin of that. It was like 80 stations, every station 70 seconds, and we trained the people inside of virtual reality. So this is the story how it started with Aidar, and we decided to find an investor so we can readily develop the product, because at the beginning you need to invest a lot of money to have a stable, nice product. And now we are already in the second round, gaining more customers and very interesting product. projects.
Very good. Thanks for putting that all together. Yeah, let's dive a little bit deeper in what is actually Aidar Solution. How many people do you have? What are your core focus
Mhm.
areas? What general problems do you solve? Maybe you want to show real quick your company presentation.
Sure, it would be nice. Give me a second. I just share my whole screen
Hmm.
because I have a combination of some screens and some videos. Okay, let's go to the full mode. So maybe first, like why IDAR? And it was on the beginning already the combination of artificial intelligence to support the object vision inside of augmented reality of the HoloLens, and using of augmented reality are, and also the English word aid somebody, to help somebody. So the IDA is the helper using the technology to build something like a knowledge base. Yeah. So we want to build a knowledge base of instruction. And especially now, it's very important because you see, like, we have in Germany, in Poland, I guess in US is the same. The problem was how to transfer the knowledge that the young people are not really coming to this kind of jobs. So you have to make it more attractive, more digital.
Hmm.
And this is where we are stepping in and making this kind of solution. And as I mentioned, we worked for Daimler, for ABB, for Canpack. Canpack is, for example, a company which is producing aluminium cans for Coca-Cola, for beer, and they're producing 5,000 on one machine per minute. And so it is, if you stop the machine, you have to handle it very quickly to repair it. And what we do in virtual reality, we have like a simulation of a failure, and the service people are trained how to manage it. So in case it happened, they can react very fast. And like an anecdote is like before they have to send the people for 6 months to another place. Why for 6 months? Because the probability that this kind of failure will appear was low. So they have to stay there for 6 months just to have the probability that this every case of failure will appear on the production line. Yeah.
Hmm.
This is something. We are running on Open XR, so we can run on standalone VR glasses. We can run also to like Nreal or HoloLens or Magic Leap. So you will see in the second we have that boss solution for that. And what is
So
our
you're
typical?
hardware
Mhm.
independent. Sorry for
Yes,
interrupt.
yes, sure.
And
We
cover
try.
the whole immersive technology space from AR to VR to XR.
Exactly, the whole scale. Okay, and we have IDA Skills, and IDA Skills is this no-code editor for VR trainings. And for us, the VR trainings are important if you have something like a high risk. The machine on which you are trained people are very expensive. It's very expensive to stop the whole process. So in this case, it makes sense to invest the money and have the 3D models of the machine and create the trainings. And with the no-code editor, usually we will help the customer at the first phase, but then we handle over to the customer. We train them to do it. And if they have like a changes, because a lot of company manufacturing are doing the Six Sigma and lean management, so they're making like a small changes, but very quickly, like every 2 months. So it is very important that they can change the training, that it is up to date with the actual process which they have.
Yeah. So the
And
owner of the training solution can make the changes themselves without reaching back to IDAR
exactly.
to let them make the changes. And going really quick back to the basics of training. What I see as a problem out in the industry, specifically in the area of machine building and maintenance, is that machine machines and systems get more and more complex. That's the one end, and the skill level out on the shop floor kind of stays stagnant. And that creates this gap. And the traditional training methods in I'll take a junior with me and show him how to do it and kind of shadowing that process, which then takes years until this person gets all this knowledge. That just takes too long. And then specifically in the US, we have the problem that people come and go to the workplace, that they don't stay like 10 years in the same company. And I
Yeah.
think in this particular problem, that's where the training solution comes in. And the virtual reality has the main advantage that you take a CAD model, so you're independent from a location. You're also independent, as you mentioned, from a timeline. You can simulate faults,
Exactly.
and you do not have to wait until that specific situation appears. And so all this training can be done already before, and maybe on a basic level, and then only the final touch you do really on the real machine. Do you see it the
Exactly.
same way?
For sure, and it is also like because I question it like you do this virtual reality training, but you don't have the haptics. You are not ready able to feel the force back or something like that. But our brain is constructed this way that we we are memorizing the information for a long time in another way. We need like a picture. This is why it is important. If you learn even from the book, it is a study which was run by one of the big consulting companies, and they was like run with doctors, and they had like two groups. One of the groups get the VR training, and another just got the book with description of the procedure. 80% of the people which they got the VR training, they were able to execute directly on the patient the procedures with very small assistance from expert, and no one was able to execute from the PDF, just from reading. And this is how our brain is working. We need this picture from different perspective. The brain is making like a lot of pictures, and this every picture is like connected to information. And the learn like if you learn something, you should, for example, read it first time in the kitchen, and the second time in the main room, because you need like another surrounding. So the brain is challenged to save the information in another picture, with another information. And in virtual reality, we can do it in the perfect way, because we can change the lighting, we can change the surrounding. We can change that you memorize easier. And
Yeah.
we have the one-to-one scale, so it is like the muscle memory, because you do exactly the same movement. And for the brain, it's not important if you do this movement 3 times or only 1 time. You just recognize or remember that you have to rotate. You have to move that from A to B, and this is enough just to have the indication. And as you mentioned, Marcus, before, then if you're on the real machine, yes, you are still have some gap, so you have to learn, but it is like you're on another level. You learn the difference very quickly then.
Yeah, you have done it before, and you already kind of understand the environment. And that's where I see the virtual reality training, or the immersive space training, a step up in. Let's say a step down is watching a video in how to do it. I guess that's the step between reading the books and the
Yeah,
PDFs. That's the
yeah,
lowest level. Then the medium
yeah.
level is you watch a video. And then the currently the highest level is you do it actually in immersive space.
Exactly.
As there you have the combination of what you see, and as you use your hands to do things, you get this whole muscle memory into the play.
Correct. Okay,
So,
but
yeah, just continue. Ich habe
okay,
gerade
but okay. But on the other hand, we have also the problem that sometimes, I mean, to create a virtual training with all the card data you need or 3D models is too expensive. You need too much time to do it, even if you have this editor which we are delivering. So we have an Aidar service, and Aidar service is like an application in augmented reality. Both Aidar skills and Aidar service are saving all the data in the same database, in the same structure, in the same format, so we can change between one and another one. So we can start in augmented reality, go to virtual reality and back. But here we use only one function of augmented reality, and this is the spatial understanding. So if I have here a glass and I put my finger here, that I know this is on the glass on the top because of that. But I don't need the glass because I have the real glass. We just need the calibration of the glass so we can do it. So here the application, we are doing the step-by-step workflows, processes. For every step, you can add like a video, you can add pictures, you can record your instruction because to write something on the HoloLens without this force back is not very convenient. And then we convert the spoken word to text, and you can correct it. We can also connect it to IoT signals because, like, if you have a machine with IoT, and instead of going to the display and going deep in the settings to find one of the settings, if you have an IoT connected machine, you can expose some of the settings to IoT, and then we can include this in the instruction, so the data is showing in front of you.
Which means that you show an actual value, a temperature, an amperage, or something at a specific location.
Exactly.
As we see here, a video with a person wearing an
this is the HoloLens, and this is
that's the
front of
HoloLens.
CNC machine. And in the second you will see, and for people who don't see the video, just I try to explain it. Here we see the interaction with our application. So we have in the front of us like a step list, and then we have something like a bubble with information about the current step, but the current step is shown in the screen. And then we know where to position something. And in the second, you will see also the IoT signals. So I just stop here. Oops. I just run back in the video. Okay, so in the screen we see like two signals, and the signals are coming from IoT. And here is the angle of the axis X, and then we have the number of pieces produced, and this is something which will appear in front of you if you're in the one of the step 8, which you see in front of you, and then you can follow. And this is the combination, like you get the most important information in front of you. You don't have to look on your phone. You have free hands, and then you execute the steps. And after you have done it, I just show you now live. Okay, give me a second. Just go to the server. Now I'm logging to our web platform. We can run multiple tenants in the same platform. We are delivering as Docker, so you can install it on premises as well. But let's go to this training, which we have seen before. And here you see the Hamler CNC. So I go click in the training. I see the training in the web application and one of the lesson. And now I am showing the lesson. So you see here, it is flat. It is on the screen. It is responsive. So I can run it on the smartphone, on the tablet. And the idea is like you click here with your sample, and then you go from step to step to follow if you don't have the augmented reality glasses. But still, if you're on the flat screen, we have the special understanding. So we show you where to do something on the very simple hologram of this process. And for every step, you can decide what is the most important. This is a video, so this will be the first one. Here, for example, it's a video, or the position. So we still have the hologram. And then it is easy, to change the text. The text will automatically read aloud. And even if I change the text, it will automatically, with artificial intelligence, translate with neural language or neural voice spoken, so you can follow the steps. And just for quality control or something like that, we can export all the manual to the more traditional, like step-by-step PDF document where you follow the steps. Also for audit, quality assurance. Or we can go in, and you will see in a second, and see it in augmented reality. So if I go back and go, for example, how it would look like on the smartphone here. So here is a screen on the smartphone, but in augmented reality mode. So you just keep the camera in front of
Yeah.
you, the phone in front of you, and you calibrate it. I will just make it a little bit faster. So you see in front of us like an engine, and the engine, you have like a calibration picture. So you need like two characteristics points of the engine, and then we start the lesson. I will do it in a second. Start the lesson, and now you can follow, and you see, even if you move the phone, where is the point you have to do it. You have like integrated video inside of the tutorial, and this is like the cheapest or more, like every phone, not older than 2-3 years can support this kind of stuff.
One question
And
to
sure.
specifically the last one you showed.
Mhm.
How long does it take to set this up?
Okay, this is, I will say something like, if you do it like the job normal, for example, for 2 minutes, then you need like factor 3 times longer to do as with as an instruction, because you just you have free hands, you do it, you just add some pictures, you record the voice. So for example, I would say something like between 10 and 20 minutes for instruction, which have something like 15 steps, something like that. So very quick, and you don't need
Which
the
is
hologram.
a very good ratio, because the challenge on a lot of these technology solutions is that the time it takes to create the content is way, way, way longer
Yeah.
than the actual use case, and that
Mhm.
hinders people to
Yeah.
create the content. In
Exactly.
addition, when it's complex to create the content, for
Hmm.
example, when you need a full scale CAD model with all the details, which
Hmm.
often is not available, then you cannot go that route. But in this case, what you just showed, you take your phone, which nowadays 99.9% of the
Yeah.
people have a smartphone in their pocket,
Hmm.
and by connecting to the platform, you are able to create content.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
is just phenomenal in my point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, it is exactly what we get from the customers, because we would try to convince them to go for the VR training, but we realize that sometimes it takes too much time. And if for example, you have somebody who is delivering machines, and they have like only one machine for the customer. So the effort to make a reality training for the one machine is too high. Yeah, but if you can do it in the front of the real machine before you deliver to the customer, and you spend maybe one day maximum for 20 instruction, and then you send it, and then the customer can use it, and we which I didn't mention before, but we have also in our tool included remote support. So in case you are not able to find a solution, we can still have connection in the same glasses on the phone, with the expert, with some annotations 3D, which you can do.
So like
So
a visual support call.
exactly.
So it's
So you
actually the
see.
combination of having the instructions in augmented reality on the device you have already in your pocket to
Mhm.
self-service.
Exactly.
And if you're not able to do self-service, you're
You
still
call
able
somebody.
to connect to an expert, and wherever that expert is from a geographic location.
Exactly. Correct.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what also we did is something like, for example, we have customers with in Japan, and some in Europe, so it's like big time difference, and also language difference. And you can send a video with the problem, and then somebody in Japan can record very easy step by step instruction how to solve the problem. Um, why in Japanese? Then we translate automatically to English or to German or to Polish, and then somebody on the next day can follow the steps on the exactly the same machine, and solve the problem. Yeah. So
Mhm.
which makes like a 60% of the cases easier.
Very cool. You're showing right now the slide about the device agnostic. So
Hmm.
more or less, Aidar Solution has this platform, and which
Hmm.
whatever hardware you have, augmented reality, mixed reality
Hmm.
headsets, all the different virtual reality headsets from the Quest to
Hmm.
even I see the Apple Vision Pro on there. Uh,
Yeah.
you guys cover it all.
Exactly. Yeah. Vision Pro, we ran to Munich, before it was already, on the market, and tested it. And after 8 hours of, adjusting it, it was already running. So, which is very nice that we know that, we can adjust to every device supporting OpenXR and Unity, because behind we are using Unity, but our application are standalone applications,
Hmm.
not a
So the
plugin for
base is
Unity.
Unity, and then on top
Hmm.
of that is the standalone Aidar solution, and from
Hmm.
there you can go to whatever hardware you want to go.
Yes. Usually we need, some adjustments, but it is not a big problem. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we test the new hardware, new versions. Yeah.
And so even as hardware is developing and new
Hmm.
hardware is coming out, you're kind of always ahead of the game and have everything prepared.
Yes. And this is part of the service of the product license as well.
Hmm. Very good. What else have you to show us?
This is like the whole picture of what we have. So what you mentioned before is IDA services, this easy step-by-step instruction. Then
Hmm.
we have this IDA editor, which is doing the, we call it full-blown XR training. So you don't need the real machines.
Hmm.
In both, we can do metaverse. So in either skills, if you create a training or you just have a machine, we can do like up to 10 people together in one room, and you have your avatar. So it is for the trainer, that the trainer can explain the machine, the parts. We can also run the instruction in metaverse. So somebody is the presenter and showing like how to do it, and the
Hmm.
trainer can check it and see it. As mentioned, we have the remote support for that, and then we are starting with IoT connectors and device template. Give me a second. I just run here in the device templates. Okay, so the idea here is we have, for example, production place site, and then we split the whole plant in sectors, and in sectors we can have different machines. So we have device templates, which is like a class,
Hmm.
and then we have the devices, which is like instances of the devices. So you can say in which part of your sector is which machine, and if you're front of the machine, we are showing you instruction only connected to this device template. We can also connect with IoT, so we can create like IoT signals. And mentioned before, and if you're in front of the machine, you can see it. But the IoT we also use for predictive maintenance. And what I mean, like we don't have like predictive maintenance included in our software, but if you have predictive maintenance, and predictive maintenance is saying you have on this device to change something, we can say, okay, if this warning is coming, here is a tutorial which is connected to this warning, and then we have the step-by-step instruction how to do
Hmm.
it. And this is addressing the problem, like you don't have the experts, or you are executing this kind of procedure not every day but every 2 months, so you forget it. It's natural
Yeah.
that you forget it, and you don't have to recall it from the PDF and figure out, oh, this is you have for behind or in front. We just one time you have to set up, but then you just follow the instruction in 3D, which is much easier than to follow it from PDF document.
All right. Very good. Thanks for giving us that overview in the different products and solutions you guys have from Aidar Service and Aidar Skill. Just as maybe some of our listeners got a little bit confused, what is Aidar Skills and what is Aidar Solutions? Could
Service.
you break that down again and kind of explain it?
Okay,
What is the
sure.
focus on the one and what is the focus on the other?
Sure. Uh, I guess you mentioned Aidar. You want to say Aidar Service because Aidar Solutions
Yes.
is the company name. Okay, and Aidar Skills is starting with virtual reality. So with the full blown, full holograms, interaction, all the stuff simulated inside of our application. And
Mm-hmm.
Aidar Service is something you are in front of the real machine, and we just know where you are. You calibrate of the machine, and then we show you like a checklist, step by step, what to do. You don't need the whole holograms interaction animation because you are just on the real machine, and
Mm-hmm.
there's integrated this remote assist, so you can call an expert and have like a 3D annotation, or you can be in front of the same machine but a different location, and you see like an avatar of another expert, so the conversation showing something is much easier
Mm-hmm.
to support you.
Great.
I hope
Thanks
this was
for
clear enough.
Yes, thanks for sum it up again. So the one is the virtual reality application and the other one is the augmented mixed reality application.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
both technologies have their pros and cons and their different use cases. As with virtual reality, you're enclosed, you are in a virtual reality, you're independent from the location, and you can, for example, train on an equipment which is currently running or at a geographic different position. While with augmented reality, you get the information you need at the location you are in order to do your job right.
Exactly. And you see,
That's
like the future looks more like it will be like the mixed reality. So
hmm
you see on the Vision Pro, you have like a something you can just turn and say virtual or augmented reality. And actually, for us, it's the difference. You are in front of the real machine, or we simulate the machine. Yeah, and this is the
yeah.
difference between either skills and either service.
As you have this solution out there and implemented it already at a lot of different customers, what are the biggest challenges you face during the implementation phase of either both solutions?
Okay, the IDA service because it's easy. It's very you can start actually the next day. Yeah. So the first you have to teach the people sometimes how to use augmented reality because we have Windows or Macs for years, and we know how to use the mouse, how is the
hmm
window, how I close it, how to make it smaller. There are the standards. In augmented reality, virtual reality, there are no standards at the moment. Yeah, so you have different kind of how you call them a knee. So something's maybe on your hand, sometimes it's in the room. But if you move, what about the mini is coming with you or not? So there's a lot of challenges, yeah, and it's more like like you can compare it more with the real life. So if you go to your TV, in front of your TV would be some buttons, and then okay, I have to click it, but the buttons don't follow you the whole
hmm
room. But in the digital world, we can do this kind of stuff. So what I wanted to say is like it is a challenge to teach the people how to interact with this kind of devices. If you have a
Because it's a
smartphone,
new way of
exactly,
doing
yeah,
things
exactly,
by
and
using the mouse and clicking
exactly,
around.
yeah, and everybody has at the moment smartphone, so you can accept a high level of already interaction, and you see kids and they see like advertisement on the streets, they want to touch it and whatever. So it's assuming more that everything is digital.
hmm
But if you show somebody HoloLens, there's not very common that the people have this kind of device at home. So for them, it's like very new, and they are more like have the challenge like how to interact with this kind of device. And then they come into your application, and they try to understanding what is your application about. So this is a challenge if you show it, to new customers or to somebody, how to do it, because you have to overcome a lot of obstacles, to in the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is difficult sometimes, to explain. Okay, but this is like interaction with the hardware, and then the process, how you create a virtual reality trainings. Yeah? And for example, if we say, I don't know, you want to create a new website, so you need a CMS programs, CMS. Yeah. So this is clear for everybody, and you usually the company has something like a marketing department, and the marketing department is responsible for this kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
what about virtual reality? What about special understanding? Whatever. Nobody there. Yeah. So you have to find actually a person who has time
Who is has
for
time and
this kind
is
of
willing to do it,
exactly
to
exactly
dive into this
exactly.
new thing and
Yeah.
find it out and work on it and
Mhm.
put their emphasis in to make it a success.
Yes. So if they say we want to do it, they have like a big exposure because nobody is expecting that this will happen or you use this kind of tool, uh, because this is like still like an innovation. So
Mm-hmm.
you need the acceptance of your, if your managed board that they're accepting it, that they come in with this kind of stuff. And then we start a project. And the next part of how I get the 3D data. Ideally, it would be some you have the K data, CAD data, and you can start
Mm-hmm.
with that. But it is still not common that the producer of the machine are giving like a reduced form of the machine as a 3D model. Because I
Yeah,
understand is that they are
that's
not to
still
wanted to.
some of a challenge.
Yes,
There's a lot of competition out there, and
yes,
people are afraid that the
yeah.
data gets stolen and copied and all of
Yes,
that.
but they should, they can export something like a reduced form of 3D data of the machine, which is fine enough. The glasses are not able to, render all this data. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it should be like a more like a political movement or something like that, which will, force the people or at least like give you like a acceleration for this kind that the producer will give 3D models of the machine just to make it uh, possible. Yeah. But a lot of cases it's not. So then we have to, like make pictures. So we going for the digital world back to very analog one. We make a lot of pictures. Then we hire 3D graphic, which we doing this 3D stuff. And then we have model with the similar. So this is something which is a difficulty. And then even you have like 3D models, you have to make it interactive. So it's like a where you rotate something, is this part a separate part in the 3D model? Because it's not separated, it's not so easy. Yeah?
Hmm.
So it is a lot of puzzles which you have to have or to solve to make a VR training. Yeah. So the easy one is like we are cooperating with the producer of the machine. It's still now till now it was very easy because we get this card data, and the only challenge in the card data is the size. It's a lot of polygons inside, and if you have, for example, a skew, every what is the English word on the skew? You have this I don't know what is the Gewinde,
The threat.
the thread, okay?
Yeah.
And this like everyone is like a polygon, yeah. So it is like you get already millions for very small part. But now we have like a lot of Python scripts which will run in Blender, which automatically reducing the number of polygons. So for example, last week we got a card from the customer. It was like 5 million polygons. And after half hour of our standard operation, we got it down to 900. Yeah, and this
And
1 million polygons are already running. Just to finish the sentence, on the Quest 3 instant alone, and this is nice. Yeah, this is something you can do something. Yeah.
yeah, And just to sum it up again, specifically about the polygons, the issue is if your model is too complex and too detailed and has too many polygons, then it takes a lot of hardware resources on the virtual reality side to
Yes.
actually visualize that. And if you turn
Exactly.
around with a large model, things are flickering and do not look good anymore. And that's the reason why the data needs to be compressed and all the
Correct.
unnecessary details need to take out. And that's the process you explained you go
Correct.
through. And
Correct.
also to sum up what you said previously about the challenges, so it actually starts on the people side of things. Uh, People need to be ready. It's a new thing. It's a new task. So people need to be willing to do that. There's also the leadership challenge that leadership needs to support that.
Correct.
Then of course always the issue with cat data. You have to have the cat data to do something. If you take back pictures or maybe even a 3D scan is a possible way as well, but then you get this point cloud,
And
and
nothing else.
still that's one piece where you have to piecemeal things out, which is again a time intensive process. Did I
Exactly.
sum that up correctly?
Perfect.
Very good. And then from there, we kind of get right into this, how to address concerns about cost and scalability of this new technology. Because when you just start on this sounds all very time intensive, very complex, and that translates normally directly into very high cost. So therefore, it doesn't make sense to do it because the ROI is not there.
Yeah. And
How do
this,
you see that, and how do you challenge your potential clients that this is
yeah,
actually a good solution?
exactly. I mean, this is what I mentioned at the beginning. This is why we have AIDA service where you can create step-by-step tutorials, and they are very cheap to create.
Hmm.
And also to adjust, to change. Even if you change part of the process, you just one step you are moving or to another part, and this is ready. And this is what I guess it's good enough for 80% of the cases. Yeah, you don't need more complex stuff. And we can, to every step you can add a picture and video. Yeah, and why, you can do, what will be the alternative? Yeah, you can do like a PDF, or you can do a video. But the problem of the video is like one long video. If you change your process, you have to find this in the video, change it, and then do it again. Yeah, and you still don't use the new technology, which has a special understanding that you can show it where it is in the
Hmm.
room. So this is why we say we need manuals done by Aidar service, because it's easy, cheap, and very, very fast to do it. And then we say, if you have something, you have like big fluctuation, or like a lot of new people hiring, that it makes sense to invest the money and make a digital twin and then do the training with virtual reality. Or you are a producer of the machine and you have like a lot of customers, and your machine is not changing every year, that
Yeah.
it makes sense to make this kind of stuff, this kind of training, for sure.
If the
Yeah.
machine is a product and you sell that again and again and again, in this
Exactly.
case, you create that
Yes.
one-time virtual reality model and you
Yeah.
can use it and use it again.
Exactly.
While where you're a custom machine builder and every of your machine is different, then AR skills would be the right thing, as
The
in
other
a
service.
pretty
Yes.
easy way you can set up things and keep it running and use it also to the customer side of things and create a value there.
Correct. Correct. And then, but if you have something like a process which is very dangerous, like an explosion or high voltage or
Hmm.
whatever, yeah, it makes sense to make it a virtual reality, because then you can, train the people, adjust the people, have instincts trained, then they react very quickly if there's no time to react, because they already have this experience. And this is where virtual reality kicks in, and you can do it very quickly. Yeah. And uh, I see that, you see like very quick steps in generative AI. So, for example, now I write a prompt, and prompt is doing like a beautiful text or beautiful image. 2 days ago, Meta was announced something like prompt to 3D, on the
Mm-hmm.
level which looks very promising. So I guess the cost of 3D generating will be like going down. So you can have the assets for 3D trainings. You can also, it is already in experiments which are doing like 3D models based on pictures, but they also understanding, moving parts and this kind of stuff. So it was lowering the costs for
Yeah.
that.
You're actually answering already my next question because without asking me, because my question was actually, where do you see does this whole technology go in immersive with AI, and how does this all come together? And you already mentioned a couple of examples that you can create 3D models with a prompt, or convert a 2D image into a 3D image with AI. Are there some other things you see out there as future trends?
Yes, we are already experimenting with that. We call it Aidar Brain, and this Aidar Brain is
Hmm.
actually, we connect, for example, what you see in Aidar service, the whole pictures, with we are streaming over WebRTC, like everything in front of you, your hand movements, and then the brain, so the artificial intelligence can do something with that. And what would be the examples? One is like you you can collect pictures of errors if something is wrong in front of you, and
Hmm.
say, okay, label it and say, okay, this is a failure number one, or this is whatever. And then this is building the ground truths, the data for augmented or for artificial intelligence to build a model, so you can do it. Another one is like, we are we can send the movement of the hands to the backend, and then say, okay, an expert was executing the action, and then the rookie will do the same, and
Hmm.
we can compare the movement of the new guy with the expert, but not on the level that we have like a one-to-one, because somebody is more high, somebody is smaller, you are brighter,
Yeah,
so
you
the
have
movements are
different
different. Yeah,
body
exactly.
dimensions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we have like a models which can compare the crucial parts. Like, if you take it not from above, but below, or you have to do it with the left hand or right, what this kind of stuff. So this is where our research development is going in the direction, what we do. And
So
the
is that
next
under the
thing,
umbrella of ergonomic analytics and stuff like that?
yes, also like, like more make job more effective, and also
Hmm.
knowledge transfer, because sometimes you don't even know what you do that it is good or that is perfect. And if we can analyze the data and compare three experts, then we can say like which kind of this operation is the most important stuff, that it is better. Yeah. And the next one is like, you can just do your job, and the artificial intelligence will create a tutorial based on it, because it is understanding what you're doing, it's understanding the scene. So the editor would be very easy to use, because you just do it. Yeah. And then you see the whole timeline, and you can just adjust it. Yeah. So this is where I see the direction it is going to. And you
Which
see it's also like
reduces again the time of content creation.
exactly, and
So
this is what
more or
you
less,
want. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
you show
mm,
it one time,
mm,
and in the future AI will then create the instructions out of it, and make it readily
yeah.
available. Maybe you have to tweak here and there a little bit,
Yes.
but
Yes.
the whole time you put into the content creation will shrink down.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Very good. Anything else on that area where you see potentials in the future in where this whole technology goes? Do you see on the IoT side any further improvements that you visualize current states, which is already possible as you describe? Are there any
I
new
think,
things in that area?
yeah, I think the IoT is like a good example because, like we are talking about IoT for years and it
Hmm.
should be already there. And where the problem which we're facing now is there's no Wi-Fi connection on the production side where you can stream something because the Faraday effect is there. So we are fighting on the much lower level with problem that we already assume that the technology is, like the
Hmm.
adaptation of the technology. And the problem is like you can have a beautiful Wi-Fi on the production side, but the problem is like, okay, then the security, somebody can kick in and do something wrong in the network. So it is better to, keep your network secure with slow whatever, because nobody will say okay, if like security is every time a good excuse for don't follow the technologies, just to say okay, otherwise it would be like the problem. So but I guess the people, and we have to accept and we have to find a way, and maybe artificial intelligence with something like automatical hacking of the system and giving like a proof that is secure maybe will reduce the problem or make it faster that the companies will accept to have nice internet. So if you connect Starlink as an example, satellite internet,
Yes.
cheap one for if you compare to the cost, then you have like a high band. Usually the if you build a new plant, it is like middle of nowhere, but with Starlink you can still have that good internet connection, and then you can use all this process which you need. And this is the first challenge we are fighting with, like this is to have this would be like good future enough.
Hmm.
And uh, then I guess then the IT can be used, yeah. But the problem is like no more technology, less technology, but more stable and more like adapted by the people that we can
Yeah.
do it inside of
There
the
has
company.
to be a certain infrastructure. That's how I would define it out in the field to be able to use digital tools, and the network and the wireless network, everything under the umbrella of Wi-Fi, is definitely an important infrastructure.
Correct.
What I see out in the field is that this infrastructure, the network and the Wi-Fi, it can be used for so many different things. More and more factories actually invest into that and build up that internal secure Wi-Fi network to enable all these other functionalities and features. So there's a change out there, but of course it always takes time to implement and to upgrade an infrastructure in an existing factory and adding more cables and responders and all of that. It's a costly thing that we have to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. Let's dive a little bit into some use cases. Can you share some feedback from clients which have adopted the Aidar solution? Maybe you can even tell some additional names and some specific use cases where clients used your product, and what was the result there?
Okay. I also already mentioned some of the example, but one, for example, the Daimler was something like building a new plant and train the people before
Hmm.
it was there, without sending the people to another location that they can work as a shadow to another guy.
Hmm.
This was a huge improvement. Another one is like there was a company expanding very fast, and they have like a 3 plants over the world, and it was like the COVID time. For them was like the remote support to have the possibility to send a checklist, something remotely, and
Hmm.
execute. This was very important scenario or advantage of our tool. Also, like for companies which are building machines and more like a one machine from for one customer, and there's like a no big difference but still differences for every customer, that they have this not the virtual reality but the step-by-step tutorial, so you can create
Hmm.
very easy this kind of stuff and connect it to IoT and have the session. So these are the the main advantages. And then we have I'm not allowed to say the company names because they are very strict restricted to that,
Of
but
course,
we have a
we know
company
about
which
that
is
part.
producing a lot of. They have one of part of that is also robotic arms, and
Hmm.
they have they have to keep the training for 10 years. It means that in the training center you need like a 10 for 10 years all the equipment, all the younger, and this is very costly. Also to have the experts, and now we are
Hmm.
moving into virtual reality and to have like a standard procedures in virtual reality how to train it, but with this one-to-one size, muscle memory, all the stuff, so they can do the training on digital twin of the machine, and the people don't have to travel; they can do it like remotely. This is also which has to change in the mind of the people, like for training centers. They use it; the people are coming to them and they do it, but they are changing,
Yeah.
and also the way how we execute the trainings. A lot of customers are saying, okay, then we have 8 hours training in virtual reality, and say, no, 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 we don't. We don't do it the same way. It doesn't make sense. In the virtual reality, you have like 100% focus on what you're doing. You are not able to do check your phone or do something like that. You don't wait for the machine that you get the machine from you. This is exclusive for you. You have a trainer which is
So it,
exclusive for you. It's like your private trainer,
mhm.
which is saying which step you have to execute. So you need less time to do the same. And one standard example is like we did like a virtual reality training for dentists for 3D scanner for the teeth, and the normal teaching was to invite doctors for 2 days, and they have like a big presentations, PowerPoint slides. But then, because the machines are expensive, it was only two of them, and it was 20 people in the room. They spent about 20-30 minutes in front of the machine and did something. Yeah. After 2 days, they have like an examination, and everyone got their certificate. But after 2 weeks, nobody was memorizing anything. Yeah, so it was
Mhm.
like it was gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what we do is like we say, no, 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 do like exclusive 20 minutes and then repeat it at 20 minutes. Yeah, and then and we can give you a feedback. So you have like a virtual training with assistant of us. So we show you what to do, and then you go in the test mode, and we don't show you. So you see, us it's not already memorized. And after 2 days, again 20 minutes, and again, and then for sure it stay in your long time memory, then you can execute it.
Yeah, the retention rate is
Mm,
way
mm,
higher because you
mm.
actually did it in a 3D environment. You used your
Exactly.
hands,
Mm,
and therefore the content goes into
mm,
your mind versus if you get that typical power presentation show. Yeah, it stays a while, but then it's gone.
mm. Exactly.
That is a pretty cool
Mm,
use case. I like that one.
mm, mm,
Very good. We talked a lot about all the different technologies under the immersive space and specifically how training in the future can be get better. Do you have some summarizing words at the end or something you missed to say about this whole content before we end this episode?
like we're still the producer of the product, so we say buy it. But to be honest, like something like, with this step by step and using the special understanding is something very easy to do, and everyone should at least try it to make and change the processes. Yeah. And this is very easy step in the technology, where you can use it still as PDF, you can still use it on the tablet, but this is something, if your maturity level of your company is growing and adapting of the glasses, then you can do it. Yeah. And I would say for everybody, start now, do it, and then grow with it, adapt it, and you see the technology is going in this direction. The artificial intelligence is helping with creating the content even very fast. So for me, with Quest 3 and similar devices, this is the right moment to start, because there is very convenient hardware on the very acceptable price level, to go and introduce it to your company.
Yeah, I agree on that as well, to start now and don't push it further and kind of wait. Let's wait until this other new technology is further developed. Within digital transformation, you have to start and step by step going up and get yourself deeper into that. And as you mentioned, right now we are at a good point where the hardware is at a good price and at a good capability. The software systems are already mature and developed, and it's just a good way to start the whole thing. And how can people start? Of course, they can contact Marek directly, specifically when they are in Europe. As DigitalituM is a partner of Aidar Solutions, come to us. We are happy to do a demo to you and show it again, both solutions, the AR and the VR solutions. Talk about your specific use case, the problems you want to solve, and then find a solution how Aidar solution can make or be the solution for that problem.
Exactly, Marcus. Okay. Good.
And we will put our contacts down in the show notes. Marek, if you have some videos you want to share, we can put the links to that in the show notes as well.
We have a lot of YouTube links,
so our listeners can get additional information and see a couple of videos on YouTube in how this actually look.
Okay, perfect, no problem.
All right, then. Thank you for being a guest at the DigitalituM Podcast.
Thank you, Marcus, for having me here. Okay, have a nice evening, day, whatever. Bye-bye.
Thanks for staying until the end for this DigitalituM Podcast episode. If you enjoyed it, we appreciate a like on your podcast platform. Check out the additional info in the show notes below. Hope you listen again to our next episode. Bye now.